Okay, good morning from Indonesia. I would like to welcome all of you to our event today, Study in Indonesia, Embrace Digital and Social Entrepreneurship webinar. Okay, so let me introduce myself first. I'm Asti Kusunganingtyas from Petra Christian University, and I will be the master of ceremony of our event. Today, we will start the event by the opening remarks from the ambassadors. And after that, we will have interesting talk show with our amazing speakers. They are Mr. Hafiz Rahman, Doctor in Philosophy, the coordinator of Innovation and Incubation Center for Technology and Support, Andalas University. And then Professor Dr. Insinyur Aisyah Endah Palupi, the Education and Cultural Attaché, Embassy of Republic Indonesia in Manila, Philippines. And then Ms. Agustina Samara, the Chief and People Corporate Strategy, Dana Indonesia. And then Mr. Insinyur Ahmad Wicaksana, Doctor in Philosophy, the Education and Culture Attaché, Embassy of Republic Indonesia in Bangkok, Thailand. Later, after the talk show, we will also have a section where participants, the students here, can have consultation session with the Indonesian top higher education institutions in the breakout room. This is your chance to get information as much as possible about the universities in Indonesia. Okay, so before we go further, let's hear the Indonesian national anthem. Our event today is held by NUNI. Thus, it's great to hear a remark from the head of NUNI, Ms. Dia Wihardini, Doctor of Philosophy. Ms. Dia, the screen is yours.
Okay, thank you, Asti. Our distinguished guest, His Excellency, Mr. Muhammad Fadjroel Rahman, the Ambassador of Indonesia to Kazakhstan and Tajikistan. His Excellency, Mr. Fadri, the Ambassador of Indonesia to Myanmar. His Excellency, Mr. Sudirman Haseng, the Ambassador of Indonesia to the Kingdom of Cambodia, represented here by Mr. Abdul Hakim as the Information and Sociocultural Affairs in the Embassy of Indonesia to the Kingdom of Cambodia. His Excellency, Mr. Rahmat Budiman, the Ambassador of Indonesia to Thailand, who is also going to be represented by Mr. Sukmo Yuwono as the Deputy Chief of Mission, the Embassy of Republic of Indonesia to the Kingdom of Thailand. Respected educations and cultural attaches of the participating KBRI, Bapak Ibu, the leaders of the participating NUNI members. We have here Mr. Stephen Wahyudi Santoso, the President of BINUS Higher Education, Dr. Johannes Eko Adiprasetanto, the Vice Rector for Research and Collaborations from Atma Jaya Catholic University of Indonesia, Dr. Juliana Anggono, the Vice Rector for Academic Affairs from Petra Christian University, Dr. Muhammad Fahmi, the Director of Academic and Internationalizations from Universitas Padjadjaran, Dr. Dian Sari Utami, the Director of Partnership and International Affairs from UII, the University of Islamic Indonesia, Dr. Foni Indah Mutiara, the Head of International Office from University of Andalas. And the speakers, we have here Dr. Hafiz Rahman, Professor Dr. Aisyah Endah Palupi, Ms. Agustina Samara, and Dr. Ahmad Wicaksono, and surely Dr. Roni Lesmana as our moderator today. The organizing committee and other colleagues that I couldn't name one by one. Dearest participants, good morning. So there is a social entrepreneur by the name of Michael Jovan, who launched Tani Hub platform with his friends. It connects farmers to buyers in Indonesia, helping them get better prices for their crops. And this e-commerce platform has benefited the livelihoods of over 60,000 farmers in Indonesia. He graduated with a degree in Business Information Systems from BINUS University. So this event today is for the young minds inspiring to be like him. So therefore, thank you so much for joining us on this very special occasion of the first NUNI Study in Indonesia event. So NUNI, or the Nationwide University Network in Indonesia, was established in 2011. It has a membership of 21 institutions, which is committed to joint activities that prepare students for global competitions and give rise to the likes of Michael Jovan. So we had the pleasure of launching this particular initiative together with Andalas University, Atma Jaya Catholic University of Indonesia, Padjadjaran University, Petra Christian University, and the Islamic University of Indonesia. Indonesia's digital trade, commerce enabled by electronic technologies is expected to grow to the worth of 159 billion US dollars by 2030, with a twofold increase in the country's need for skilled workers. As we observe Indonesia's potential in the digital and social entrepreneurship, we have been working together to secure the needed human resources and create opportunities in neighboring countries. So to sustain Indonesian and ASEAN global competitions, we need internationally networked graduates with a global mindset, a heart for development, and with the latest skills. So the students from different walks of life in the region must learn together to create new ideas that unfold the digital and social entrepreneurship opportunities. So therefore, I would like to extend my thanks for the generous support we are receiving from the participating embassies of the Republic of Indonesia. So this event will show the most important reasons to study in Indonesia, focusing on the best practices in the Indonesian higher education in preparing tech-savvy entrepreneurs and innovators. Honorable ambassadors, thank you very much for your time and wisdom. the respected education and cultural attaches, thank you as well for the insightful discussion ahead of us. I wholeheartedly extend my thanks as well to Dana Indonesia. You have been our close partner in preparing graduates for the exciting field of fintech. Thank you for the valuable insights today on the entrepreneurship landscape in Indonesia and its regional role. So finally, dear educators and students, please join us from our discussion today because you are joining from different countries in ASEAN. So thank you again for coming to our event today. We are very excited about the curiosity shown, and we are looking forward to assisting the students in preparing the careers of their dreams. So thank you. Enjoy the rest of the sessions.
Thank you, Ms. Tia. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we will hear the opening speech from the ambassadors. The first opening will be from the Ambassador of Indonesia to Myanmar, His Excellency Professor Iza Fadri. Professor Iza, the screen is yours.
Selamat pagi, very good morning. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My colleagues, all of invited ambassadors, distinguished guests, all of the university, our beloved students. Thank you to each and every one of you for being here with us today. I'm truly happy to be able to meet with all of you in this fine morning at the Zoom meeting to welcome potential international students. I hope you all are doing well and stay healthy, although the world is struggling with the pandemic COVID-19. It is a great pleasure for me to receive the opportunity to deliver remarks in the socialization event for the virtual webinar study in Indonesia, Embrace Digital and Social Entrepreneurship. The topic of the webinar raised in the activity is related to digital entrepreneurship, which is currently growing rapidly and has the potential to replace conventional businesses. Moreover, the fact that Indonesia has a number of startups with unicorn and decacorn title in added value in this webinar. The main objective of this webinar is to provide a platform for higher education institutions in Indonesia to actively promote and showcase international education in the universities that are involved in this activity. The affiliated university will provide information about available educational opportunities and engage actively with prospective students through live presentation or sharing session with international students from each college. In addition, participants in this webinar will learn about Indonesian tourist destination and the social and digital entrepreneurship landscape from expert speakers of this event. With collaboration from universities in Indonesia and government support, it is hoped that Indonesia can become a study and tourism destination that can rise Indonesia's name in the eyes of the world. The main target of this activity is high school students and their equivalent, parents and counselors who expected to gain insight to undergraduate program in Indonesia and tourist destination, the opportunities offered for business startup. This activity will take place in collaboration with 6 Indonesian universities as follows: A. Andalas University or in bracket UNAN, Bina Nusantara University on bracket BNUS, Indonesian Islamic University in bracket UII, Atmajaya Catholic University, in bracket Unika Atmajaya, Petra Christian University, in bracket UK Petra, and Pajajaran University, in bracket Unpad. Promotion of Indonesian higher education in Myanmar is carried out by the Indonesian Embassy in Yangon, in collaboration with various universities in Indonesia, which in the future will generate high foreign exchange for the country. The promotion of Indonesian higher Indonesia in Myanmar is carried out considering that in the Southeast Asia region, Indonesia is still lagging behind Thailand, Singapore, and Malaysia from the perspective of destination country for the Myanmar people to continue the higher education. The people of Myanmar who can afford generally continue their student in the 3 ASEAN member countries or to the UK and the United States, while those who are less able to study in Myanmar state universities, considering the tuition fee are very cheap, the provision of scholarship is expected to encourage the people of Myanmar to study in Indonesia at their own expense in the future. Considering that many have experienced firsthand the quality of higher education in Indonesia, in addition, the increase in foreign students, including from Myanmar, will help Indonesian university improve their international ranking. The Indonesia Embassy in Yangon cooperates directly with various universities in Indonesia, in bracket Brawijaya University, Padang State University, Andalas University, and Jambi University to provide scholarship to the people of Myanmar. Cooperation in providing scholarship is one of the efforts to promote Indonesian higher education. The people of Myanmar who have the opportunity to continue the higher education abroad generally still choose the United States, Britain, Singapore, and certain other countries. By providing more scholarship to the people of Myanmar, the quality of Indonesian higher education will be better known, so that in the future, it is hoped that there will be an increase in the number of Myanmar students in Indonesia. Alumni can become ambassadors who not only voice the excellence of the quality of education in Indonesia, but also in the other fields, so as to help unite the two nations. Some of activities to promote Indonesian higher education organized by the Indonesian Embassy in Yangon are: first, cooperation in providing scholarship between the Indonesian Embassy in Yangon and the University of Brawijaya. The Indonesian Embassy in Yangon and University Brawijaya cooperate in providing scholarship for the people of Myanmar. There are 3 Myanmar students who received Brawijaya University scholarship. Second, cooperation in providing scholarships for the Indonesian Embassy in Yangon and Padang State University. September 2019, the Indonesian Embassy in Yangon sent 8 Myanmar students who received Padang State University scholarship. They come from various cities and states in Myanmar. They will pursue bachelor and master degree ranging from English language, education, education administration, counseling, early childhood education, and technician and vocational education. This scholarship is the second time that this scholarship has been awarded through a direct collaboration mechanism between the Indonesian Embassy in Yangon and universities in Indonesia. Third, cooperation in providing scholarship for the Indonesian Embassy in Yangon and Andalas University. 9 Myanmar students received scholarship from UNAN and were officially accepted on September 1st, 2020. Scholarships are not only beneficial for educational cooperation between Indonesia and Myanmar, but will also have a positive impact on economic cooperation in the long term. Until December 2021, the UNAN students from Myanmar were still studying online due to restriction on international flight to help prevent the spread of the COVID-19. For cooperation in providing scholarship for the Indonesian Embassy in Yangon and Jambi University. 2 Myanmar students received at Jambi University scholarship in September 2021. Since October 13, 2021, in the 2018 until 2021 period, the cooperation between the Indonesian Embassy in Yangon and University Indonesia resulted in 20 scholarships for the people of Myanmar. Now we try to progress cooperation with the other university. We keep in touch with Myanmar students who receive scholarship from Indonesian universities. We are aware they face online learning difficulties, and we try to provide them with assistance within our reach. We also publish articles on Indonesian scholarship written by the student on Myanmar media. So, if the situation in Myanmar return to normal, Indonesian Embassy also open to other areas cooperation, not only scholarship, but we can explore cooperation such as internship, exchange students and lecturers, cultural performance, etc. One of the facilities that Indonesian Embassy in Yangon has is Indonesian language course for foreign speakers, in bracket BIPA. In mid-2018 to January 2019, the Indonesian Embassy in Yangon held an Indonesian language course for foreign speakers. Located the Indonesian Cultural and Information Center, Yangon, courses are held twice a week with Indonesian language teacher from the Yangon Indonesian School. The course students from the other than Indonesian Embassy in Yangon also have Indonesian International School of Yangon with 400 students from multi-nation in Myanmar. Indonesian International School Yangon as the soft power of diplomacy of Indonesia to Myanmar. EESY, one of the most favorite international school in Myanmar. EESY, the one and only international school belong to Indonesia from the around of the world. Myanmar community with a number ranging from 8 until 15 students per meeting. One of the concrete benefit of the course is the capture of the 2 participants in the Indonesian language contest for foreign speaker, which has organized by the Indonesian Ministry of Education and Culture in Jakarta, August 15, 2019, and the capture of Myanmar students who participated in the offer of Indonesian scholarship, namely a recipient of Padang State University scholarship and Andalas University scholarship recipient. The course activities have not been able to hold again until now due to the shortage of human resources for BIPA School Indonesia Yangon teacher who have returned to Indonesia, and there has been no replacement until now. The COVID-19 pandemic situation and the takeover of power by the military of government of Myanmar. As tourism is one of the sectors struck the hardest during the COVID-19 pandemic. From discussion with Myanmar tourism actors, several input we obtained, namely nature tourism is still favorite for Myanmar tourists. Vietnam with Halong Bay and Thailand with Hua Hin Beach become the main destination for the past 2 years. Visit to China, Beijing, and Shanghai increased as a result of China's apparent support for Myanmar on the Rakhine State issue. The main destination for Myanmar tourists to Indonesia is still Bali, but Yogyakarta is starting to be known for the Borobudur Temple, considering that the majority of Myanmar people are Buddhists. I wish you a very successful study and get a suitable university. Do not forget to explore the beauty and culture of Indonesia while you are staying in Indonesia. I also want to encourage you to study Bahasa Indonesia, although you are going to study your major in English. If you have anything to be discussed or to be supported with, please do not hesitate to contact us. I wish you all very successful career ahead. Thank you so much and Cuci tiba de. Terima kasih. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Prof. Isa. Next, we will hear from the head of Ambassador of Indonesia to Kazakhstan and Tajikistan, Mr. Muhammad Fadjroel Rahman. Mr. Muhammad Fadjroel Rahman, the screen is yours.
Thank you very much. Oke, baik. Terima kasih. Thank you very much. Nama budaya, salam Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. His Excellency Iza Fadri, Ambassador of Indonesia to Myanmar. His Excellency Sudirman Hai Haseng, Ambassador of Indonesia to the Kingdom of Cambodia. His Excellency Rahmat Budiman, Ambassador of Indonesia to Thailand. His Excellency, and then also Bapak Hafiz Rahman from Andalas University, Ibu Profesor Aisyah Endah Palupi from Embassy Republic of Indonesia in Manila, Philippines, Bapak Roni Lesmana, Ph.D. Pajajaran University, Ibu Agustina Samara dari Dana Indonesia, dan Ahmad Wicaksono Ph.D. dari Embassy Republik Indonesia in Bangkok, Thailand. Dan juga, and also Universitas Andalas, Universitas Atmajaya, Universitas Pajajaran, Universitas Islam Nusantara, and also Universitas Kristen Petra. So thank you very much for inviting me today. Honorable speakers, lecturers, teachers, and students, good morning. It is indeed an honor for me to be able to deliver opening speech in this timely webinar, Study in Indonesia, Learning Digital and Social Entrepreneurship. Digital economy in Indonesia has rapid development. Since Indonesia is in the third position of the most internet users in Asia. Pandemic COVID-19 has also played an important role in accelerating the adoption of digital technology or digital revolution of the Indonesian. That makes Indonesia become the largest Southeast Asia online market. Indonesia has more than 64 million small and medium enterprises and making 61% of Indonesia economy. It is huge. In 2020, Indonesia startup in Indonesia has growing rapidly and making 1 decacorn and 8 unicorn. Indonesia will be one of the countries with the most unicorn in Asia or maybe globally, since it provides a business-friendly environment. Hence, the strength of our digital economy will further expand its ecosystem. Ladies and gentlemen, this year, Indonesia holds G20 presidency with one of the theme is digital inclusion, which means that integrate the society into digital economy ecosystem. And our motto is recover together and stronger together. This digital inclusion need many human resources who has digital knowledge. So preparing the digital talents through university and college become Indonesia's priority. With the current strategic initiative and talent readiness, we hope to produce young generation who are capable of recognizing business opportunity, creating productive workforce, and being a finder rather than simply a follower. Teachers, parents, and students, I do hope by choosing Indonesia as the country for studying, the student could learn not only sharpening their digital capabilities, but also how to have high adaptability, competitiveness, and entrepreneurial spirit that need by today's generation, not only to set up their own business, but also to work in their workplace. In addition, with their digital capabilities, I do hope that the younger generation will not only act as a job seeker, but can also become job creators. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Terima kasih. Balsoye spasiba.
Thank you, Mr. Muhammad Fadjroel Rahman. Next, we will hear from Mr. Sukmo Yuwono as the Deputy Chief of Mission Embassy of the Republic of Indonesia in Bangkok, Kingdom of Thailand. Mr. Sukmo, the screen is yours.
Thank you, Ms. Asti. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. His Excellency, the Ambassador of Indonesia to Myanmar, His Excellency, the Ambassador of the Indonesia to Kazakhstan and Tajikistan, Bapak Abdul Hakim, participant from the University in Indonesia, outstanding speaker, distinguished guests, and all the participants. First of all, I would like to deliver my sincerely thanks to the Nation with University Network in Indonesia, who has organized such great events. I also have my pleasure to welcome all participants from many countries to learn more about higher education in Indonesia, and hopefully you can get the much possibility information you need directly from many excellent higher education institutions of Indonesia with the opportunity to enroll, especially with the scholarship provided. Indonesian universities are increasingly occupying the top ranking of global universities. From 2019 to 2022, there was an increase of 78% from 9 to 16 of the number of Indonesia universities list of the QS World University Rankings, while there was an increase of 280%, 5 to 19, in the Times Higher Education World University Rankings. Many programs are taught in English or other language for those who do not speak the Indonesian language. Besides, you will get the idea to the perfect answer why you should study in Indonesia. Today, you also will listen to many experts who will share to you about social and digital entrepreneurship landscape in Indonesia. Finally, I would like to ask you all to see Indonesia as a great opportunity to get a high quality education for reasonable tuition fee. Not only education, to have wonderful life experience, as Indonesia is one of the richest countries in cultural wealth and natural resources. You also will learn so many things culturally, which would be a valuable gift away when studying in Indonesia. Once again, thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Mr. Sukmo Yuwono. Next, we will hear from Mr. Abdul Hakim, the Information and Sociocultural Sociocultural Affairs Embassy of Indonesia to Kingdom of Cambodia. Mr. Abdul Hakim, the screen is yours.
Yang saya hormati Ibu Wihardini, Excellency Iza Fadri, His Excellency Muhammad Fadjroel Rahman, Bapak Sukmo Yuwono, all rectors who representative from NUNI, and then participants, all speakers, all ladies and gentlemen. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat siang, salam sejahtera bagi kita semua. First of all, I would like to convey my regret that my ambassador has not yet joined us on this good occasion due to unforeseen condition. I am honored to be here this morning and meet you all through webinar platform. And thank you very much for the invitation. It is my appreciation for the higher education promotion program coordinated by Binus University that has collaborated with the 6 universities which are members of the NUNI Consortium. Some of efforts to expand the network of recruitment of prospective international students are a must for every university in order to expand the rich university introduction as well as strengthen networks and cooperation and also improve the quality of education. Under theme, Study in Indonesia, Embrace Digital and Social Entrepreneurship, it is a timely theme because for the last 2 years, the world has been hit by pandemic and even emerging a new virus variant of the Omicron with a very fast transmission rate. People all over the world realized and became anxious about the situation. By utilizing digital communication technology, we'll bridge the previous communication problems using conventional methods and also penetrate existing barriers and can be done effectively and efficiently. Besides that, one important thing is that social entrepreneurship aims at producing goods and services that can serve the community and solve a problem which is focused on a solution-oriented approach on social problems. A study by British Council in Jakarta indicates that social entrepreneurship has become an attractive career option for young people in Indonesia. Moreover, quoted from the Jakarta Post, it said that among the vocations that have gained popularity during the pandemic is social entrepreneurship, which is defined as the use of business mechanisms to tackle social challenges, or combining commercial and welfare logistics to operate organization. In addition to that, Cambodia, as one of the ASEAN member countries, has committed the achievement of the Sustainable Development Goals by 2030. This strategy has been stipulated in the Cambodian education program each every 5 years before the pandemic began. For the next 5 years, 2019 to 2020, towards 2030 and to 2050, the Ministry of Education, Youth and Sports has committed to achieving the SDGs based on principles of inclusive, fair, quality education, and promoting lifelong learning opportunities. The ministry continuously minimizes skills gaps, collaborates with the relevant stakeholders to intensify the provision of skills training in priorities areas and introduce digital education as a response to Cambodia's digital economy policies and direction. In order to achieve these priorities, the ministry has implemented two comprehensive policies, namely, one, ensuring inclusive and equitability, quality education, and encouraging lifelong learning opportunities for all. And the second, ensure effective education leadership and management at all levels. Like other countries, in the last 2 years, since the outbreak and spread of the deadly COVID-19 virus, the Cambodian government had closed schools throughout Cambodia from the beginning of 2020 to the end of 2021, including universities and other educational institutions to suppress and cut off the chance of spread of the COVID-19. The Cambodian government efforts to maintain the sustainable of the implementation of the education students has taken a policy by applying 3 learning methods to students, namely, one, by online Zoom, Google Classroom, and the second, come to the school to take textbooks and within 1 or 2 weeks to study alone at home. The third, distance learning through state TV, Television National Cambodian second. This policy is supported by the Ministry of Information to open new channels specifically for the Ministry of Education to broadcast recording lessons to students throughout Cambodia. On this good occasion, we welcome this educational promotion event using the webinar platform, which is sponsored by a consortium of 6 universities, namely Atmajaya Catholic University of Indonesia, Binus University, Petra Christian University, University of Andalas, Universitas Islam Indonesia, and Universitas Pajajaran Bandung. The Indonesian Embassy in Phnom Penh has coordinated with the several high schools and well-known universities in Cambodia to attend this event. And we do hope that their students can actively participate in the webinar right now. We also hope that all students can get an interesting overview and be inspired to continue their studies at one of the university, either through the mechanism of offering scholarship from universities or with the mechanism of students' self-funding program. Finally, I would like to thank you once again for your cooperation and congratulations, as well as success in organizing this educational program event. Thank you once again. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much, Mr. Abdul. We are delightful to have the participation from all the enthusiastic students from ASEAN. And also here's the special welcome for the students from Cambodia, facilitated by KBRI. Good morning. Thank you for your enthusiasm and hope you can get much from the event today. Okay, now before we go further to the main agenda, we would like to present you the Indonesian dance performance. So this performance is actually Indonesian traditional dance, and it is from Kalimantan. Also, it is presented by the Cambodian. What a wonderful performance. Okay, so without waiting any longer, we will go to the main agenda of our event today. So allow me to introduce you to our moderator today, Mr. Roni Lesmana, Doctor in Philosophy. Mr. Roni is the head of International Office Pajajaran University. Mr. Roni, are you ready?
Yes, sure. Thank you so much.
Okay,
Thank you.
okay.
So thank you to Master Ceremony today, Ibu Asti, for allowing me to chair the session for talk show. It's going to be excited for all of us to have this session. And not only the topics, but we have a very, very important and excited person whom very scarily difficult maybe in some point in the daily if we want to meet them and talk with them, but they are really, really kind person, humble person, and nice resource person for us today. So we will have a quite complete speakers who will give us enlightenment regarding the learning digital and social entrepreneurship. So today we will have the representative from the government area. We will have the representative for education and for industry. Definitely, I'm very happy to chair the session and the talk show today with all of the distinguished speaker. So allow me to open with Salam Sejahtera for all of us. So we will come closer and know person to person who will talk with us today. So I would like to invite specific one by one this speaker who will talk in the talk show today. First, from the government, from the embassy, Education and Culture Attaché, Embassy of the Republic of Indonesia in Manila, Philippines. Very, very good morning, Pak Teguh. Welcome. How are you today?
Good morning. Good. Thank you.
Okay, so we will have an exciting discussion this morning, but please hold a moment. I will call another speakers today. So we will have also attended by a person, a very important person from Embassy of the Republic of Indonesia in Bangkok, Thailand, Engineer Ahmad Wicaksono as Education and Culture Attaché. Mr. Ahmad, how are you today? Very good.
Very good, fine. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for spending your time, important time to all of us here. And also we have the representative from the university. I won't like to call our colleagues from the Andalas University, who now assigned as a coordinator of Innovation and Incubation Center for Technology and Innovation Support, Mr. Hafiz Rahman. Mr. Hafiz Rahman, good morning. How are you today?
Morning, I'm fine. Thank you very much. I hope everyone in good health, keep healthy, because
surely, yeah. Thank you, Mr. Hafiz. And also we have the representative from industry, which is this is really important, from Dana, Indonesia. This is a very famous company nowadays, and then very prominent in Indonesia. I'm very happy to call a person who now assigned in the Chief of People and Corporate Strategy, Mrs. Agustina Samara. Good morning, Ibu Agustina. How are you today?
I'm great, Dr. Ronnie. Thanks a lot for this event, and I'm really grateful to share everything from the industry to everyone here.
Thank you so much. So I'm very excited to have all the speakers, and then I also very excited to know that there is 2 schools joining with us, and then they are very excited to hear our talk show today. I will just wave hand to the student from Nurul Iman. Could you wave your hand? Nur? Hello, how are you today over there, guys? Good. Yeah. Okay. So today we will discuss about the topics regarding the learning digital and social entrepreneurship. This pandemic, COVID-19, has really forced us to change a lot of things. This is kind of a blessing in disguise in some point. As we know, after the pandemic, many systems changed in the marketplace, in the education system, even in the government administration processes, all the changes. So I would like to start with Ibu Tina. Ibu Tina, from the industry side, what do you feel about the situation? And then how is the position of the industry be able to support the digital and social entrepreneurship in the perspective, the change situation after the pandemic, and drive it to the learning digital? And then all the people now start to utilize the social media.
Okay, thanks, Dr. Rani, to giving me the first opportunity to share. So I think because I represent the industry, and then especially from the startup company of Dana. Dana is already 3 and up to 4 years in Indonesia. We are going into how we convert and educate all the people from the cash to cashless society, because digital era is not an option anymore, but it's a must, because we have to face the behavior from since we are wake up in the morning up to close sleep at night. We already changed our behavior, right? So talking about that one, that we cannot avoid the digital, but we need to understand that digital and technology, it's the one who support peoples and human being to make more efficient and have a good well-being and a wealthy environment, but not in the vice versa. So I may say that how we balance in terms of we use the technology and how we balance in terms of the people connections and interaction is needed. So it's talking about the high tech and high touch. And from that moment of Dana itself and from the industry, we believe that the social entrepreneurship is also needed, because we need to have a local wisdom to giving the impact to the society as well, from the cultural, from the social impact. In Dana, we apply that kind of Bangga Buatan support Bangga Buatan Indonesia, that we support the and digitize the MSME programs. And from there, we support like we have a Dana business features, Dana business programs. On that context, it's talking about the business side. But in the context of we talking about the internal side, how we support the social entrepreneurship and the spirit of social impact as well. We encourage all of the employee to have a activity like Dana Good Meets. Dana Good Meets is kind of I encourage my employee not only working in the computer because it's Zoom to Zoom meeting, right? So, but they need to interact with the people. So they have to come to the field in the remote area, in the other city, so they can interact directly to the woman, UMKM and everything to know whether their product is effective or not. And then they also have a empathy level, increase their empathy level to interact with the people. So I think in my points and take away that the social entrepreneurship is needed. And then even like in the Indonesia itself, that digital is needed as well, but we need to balance and using the right technology for each organization and each of the university to make it more effective in the futures. Back to you, Dr. Ronnie.
Thank you. Very clear explanation from you, Ms. Tina. Thank you so much. I covered some point, which is this is the technology is for support, okay? And then it should balance and make life easier. But in some point, because the gap and the transition is so fast, sometimes you cannot cut and cope that transition so well from side of the university or from side of the market or in the government side. So in this highlight, I would like to invite my friends, my colleagues, Mr. Hafiz, Rachman. Well, what do you think? So how our university or our college or university in Indonesia as general prepare our graduates? So it can be relevant with the student changes like learning digital, social entrepreneurship, and forced by COVID-19, definitely, right? So please, Mr. Hafiz, what is your opinion?
Very much, Mr. Ronnie. Well, three main keywords that I would like to highlight here regarding our topics this morning and from the university perspective. First, we need to adapt with the situation, adapt with the changes, whatever kinds of changes in, for example, this COVID-19 and also digital technology, and that's what university need to do actually. And the second one is that university need to adopt the high technology, the digital technology that of course will influence university when they do their jobs. And the last thing is empathy to the situation nearby, to the surrounding environment of the university, not only preparing graduates with the skills and knowledge, but how to bring them to sensitize with their social and surrounding environment, and where they will interact with the social environment. So in terms of digital technologies, university right now, of every university in Indonesia, I'm sure that they already applied the use of LMS, Learning Management System, and also MOOC, Massive Open Online Course, to respond, to adopt with this situation of COVID, digital technologies, something like that. And related to the empathy, what I would like, what I highlight, what I mentioned previously, I'm sure that university in Indonesia, they try to switch their learning methodology to this design thinking method. Design thinking, it starts with the how you can empathize with the situation surrounding yourself in order to make the decision, in order to produce something really effective and efficient. So I think that's my point, Dr. Ron. Back to you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Hafiz. I really get and hear what you say. That there is a two, at least three you said that I captured. So there is adapt and empathy. We are changing. We are using LMS now, MOC. We adapt with the situation, but in somehow our changes will not get the ultimate goals. Will not be able to cope to the ultimate goal without support with the government or support from the government. Thus, we already have the speakers now from the government side. I would like to specific asking first, pardon me, to Atasi from Bangkok, for Mr. Ahmad. So, do these changes in the university, do you think any advantages from our education system changes for enhancing the movement of the foreign student to Indonesia, example, because we have now the audience not only from our country, but we have audience from Cambodia, from Myanmar, Kazakhstan, and from the other countries now join with us. So we would like to hear your opinion, Mr. Atase. Mr. Ahmad, time is yours.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Rani, and distinguished speaker and all the participants. I think we have several advantages of higher education in Indonesia, especially for the bachelor degree. Yeah, at least I can say for that. First is about the time of study. Yeah, usually in several countries for bachelor study, it took not less than 4 years. Yeah. But in some of the university in Indonesia, we can finish it within 3.5 years. Yeah. And the second thing is about the curriculum, which is right now the Indonesian government applied what we call as emancipated learning, where the experiential learning of student is highly appreciated. And so student can do an internship for 6 months, in the company, or they can do an entrepreneurship also in making a startup or something like that. So this a good advantage for higher education in Indonesia. And then the third one maybe is about the potential market for future career of the student who are taking the bachelor degree in Indonesia, because as you know, we are in terms of population, maybe now we are the fourth or the third biggest in the world. Yeah. So this is the biggest market. So when you graduate, you can also join in market of Indonesia. And also some of the university, they already provide international accredited study program. So not only in Indonesia, you also can find job in other countries because it's already internationally accredited. And then the fourth one maybe is the network. Yeah. So the advantage is you can have a network with Indonesian students who come from all over the Indonesia. Yeah, we have more than 38 provinces in Indonesia, and also now we have about more than 10,000 foreign students in Indonesia. So this will also give a chance to have a network with other foreign students. That's all for me.
Wow, thank you. Very clear. So if I count it clearly, there is a time of the study advantages, curricula, network, potential to be developed for their future career, and also potential market. So definitely this is will not be complete without the comments how the process, but please hold a moment. Mr. Ahmad, I will move to the other speakers. So Mr. Teguh, the representative Atase from Manila, I just wondering that what do you think and what is your opinion? Is that any support for the embassy side for the foreign student to study in Indonesia? Is that with the digital system is making easier or making difficult. So we want to hear your opinion regarding this point, because all the system is changed. I don't know whether the system in embassy also changed or not, and the process will be easier or will be difficult. So what you meant to share about that point, please.
Thank you, Dr. for the question. This is quite a difficult question because we have a different situation now. Hopefully that we will get into normal situation that people can go around. So, but actually that we have to face this situation of pandemic. So I think that how to support this before the student or qualified applicant go to Indonesia for study or something like that. So basically that the embassy should provide, and we provide pre-departure orientation. This is quite important because what the orientation is not limited in terms of university and subject, but this is also beyond university and subject. So you can imagine that's one people from another country visit another country or study in somewhere different people, different culture, different something, everything. So this is one aspect, and the second, although there are already quite a number of school or university in Indonesia that use English or they have like international class, still majority use Bahasa Indonesia as the medium instruction or something like that. So based on this, so embassy through the Office of the Education and Culture Attaché and the embassy itself, that we have the program offer Bahasa Indonesia class. So not only to those who plan to study in Indonesia, but to any foreign speaking individual. This is free of charge. So this is now we doing this digitally, and for the teacher from Indonesia through Zoom or something like that. We call S.B.P.A. This is Bahasa Indonesia for bagi penutur asing. So this is for international program, and the material will be provided by the instructor. And due to the pandemic class that we held virtually via Zoom, this is also what we support to them. So at least they know about the Bahasa Indonesia. We have 7 levels. This is BIPA 1, 2, and BIPA 3, 4 for intermediate, and 5, 7 for advanced. So participant will receive a certificate upon completion of 28 hours of per level. And note that I think at least a basic knowledge of Bahasa Indonesia, I think is already an advantage for those who aspire to study in Indonesia. So I think this is what we here in Manila, the embassy give a support to them who want to study in Indonesia. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much, Mr. Teguh. It is very clear that there is a support through online system for learning Indonesian language. Since there is a possibility, they need to use Indonesian language in Indonesian university. Thus, this is very clear support for all friends here who want to study in Indonesia. And please note, in Embassy of Philippines is a free of charge. And I don't know, is that be able to be attended by the other foreign student from the other country, since this is online?
I think at the moment is for Filipinos only, because
okay.
we have the quota, because every single instructor they have a quota. And this is
I understand.
But I
For
think
sure.
other embassy also have the same, almost the same program like this.
Oh yeah, okay. Is that also in Embassy of Manila and similar with Embassy in Bangkok, Mr. Ahmad?
I think so. I think so.
Yes, yes. We have in here in
okay. And I do believe
Bangkok, yes.
and I do believe
every
also that
embassy, I think they provide.
every embassy, I think they provide that, right? Also in Myanmar and also in Cambodia and also in other countries. So friends who want to study in Indonesia, don't forget, every embassy support you, not only by the system who changed now to the online for the administration issue, but also for preparing departure to understand Indonesian culture, and also to prepare yourself to be able to speak Indonesian, so you can enjoy your life and study in Indonesia for your future. But we will go back to the very first speaker from Dana, Miss Tina. Miss Tina, I heard one statement that Indonesia is a potential big market with a big society, and then we are welcome foreigners to study in Indonesia. And I just wondering, and then want to ask you whether Dana also or other Indonesian international company is open to hire international student graduate. Is that any shared experience from your side, Ms. Tina?
Yeah, sure, Dr. Ronnie. So I think we really support on that part because with this digital era, there's no there is no room for only inward looking, but it's also outward looking, right? So we can find any information from our Google. So meaning that we open for the international graduate or international worker coming to Indonesia, because I think there's a 3 points of the advantage, how we can collab each other between countries, where we can respect the diversity and culture. So from the student, from the cross country, they can share their own their different view, which is make us have more insight on that part. And then we need to see that Indonesian need to also having the global mindset, right? And to having the global mindset, we need to really have an interactions directly with the expatriate or in the for the international student. So in Dana, we really support on that part. We also hire several positions from the international one, and I think I'm echoing from Pak Teguh and Pak Ahmad as well that international students coming to Indonesia is a very good one as well, because we can go into the cross cultural knowledge and also networking, because networking is priceless. When they come to Indonesia, they can see our culture, they can see our product, and if they love that product, and they can send to their family, bring the product to the international wide, so everyone can know the from the Indonesia. And then one more thing that I want to highlight in terms of the Indonesia is people connect with people, right? So meaning that even like only one international student coming to one university, but I think from there, with the social media and with all the digital things, when they take a picture of Indonesia or they can share to their friends there, then it's coming into the whole Indonesians, spreading away.
So in other words, you
Back to
say
you, Dr.
that, so in other words, you also can say that Indonesia is very potential market for developing any startup example?
Yeah, because Indonesia is also it's a huge opportunity geographical, and then 260 peoples right here inside, right? So I mean with those things they can learn as well. I mean, even like in a small country, but when they coming here, they can learn how to manage with all the mass production, with all the mass people interactions in this country.
I do hear you. I agree with you. The other word is, before I move to the next questions to other speakers, I just wondering, is that any strategy from Dana in order to support the digital learning for our society, for students? Who is the person who come over to the company? Any strategy by providing example internship example? I don't know. Is that anything strategy do by Dana to enhancing the development of digital learning?
Yes, sure. In Dana, we also applied the internship program because I'm in HR. Believe that internship program is organic growth and the strategy for the organization to settle with all the talent war and the turnover, right? So we applied the internship program, and now even in Dana, we already have a more almost 100 internship right now across 10 divisions.
Wow.
And then from there. Yeah. And then from there, it's also combined, like we were working with the MIT and some of the big university to have that kind of internship here, because during this pandemic, it's a very huge opportunity because they don't need to come to Indonesia, but we can just giving the assignment to them, and then they can just having the interaction through Zoom and sending all things through email. So I think digital helped a lot in terms of the cross international knowledge and then internship. And I think we can use this kind of huge opportunity during this digital era.
Yeah, oh, this is really exciting because our government also have the similar program and enhancing the university across Indonesia to do the internship program. Is a very fit with our next speaker, Mr. Hafiz Rahman. So I will invite you again to respond. Do you think this is be able to be fit in, or what do you think regarding this opportunity and the program from our government, Campus Merdeka, which is, you know, this is emancipated learning education system to provide all the students who learn in Indonesia, include foreign students who take their study in Indonesia, right, to have those opportunities like internship period in very famous company like Dana. So what do you think, Mr. Hafiz?
It's the good thing from Campus Merdeka as a major and important government programs in Indonesia is that this program is to answer and to bridge what university can provide to the industry and what industry needs to be provided by the university. And responding to Ms. Tina previously mentioned that in Campus Merdeka we also have several if I'm not mistaken, 9 specific programs, and which one of it is the structured internship program. So in the structured internship program in Campus Merdeka, throughout university in Indonesia, it tries to link what the industry needs with the situation in the university, what university will be provided to the industry. So in this structured internship program, normally we will try to assign students to several industry and do some internship there, but not like the normal or the previous internship program that we've already done before. This is structured, so you need to have a very close link to the industry. What industry needs from university, then university need to provide it. That's the good thing from the Campus Merdeka. Apart from that, Campus Merdeka, in Campus Merdeka, one of the major and important program is related to entrepreneurship, which encourage students to have a real entrepreneurship project, which can be launched as the startup, as the new venture company from the university students. And well, that's from my side related to Campus Merdeka and how this program can be can link what university with the industry. Dr. Rani.
Oh, that's very clear-cut and interesting perspective. But you know, this is kind of interviewing feeling and questions on my side. I just feel I just want to asking a little bit deeper because we know did not live in the revolution 4.0 anymore. It's happened already, but we anticipate for society 5.0. Mm-hmm. So do you think this is all the changes anticipate those situations, Mr. Hafiz?
Yes. Looking at to my university as an example and based on our experience, what we've done to anticipate the society for, we do the 2 things related to this. The first is that we try to equip students with a more socially oriented course, and that's why we have a specific course, a specific content in our course, which called as social entrepreneurship. Yeah, and this, or at least we, in so many courses in our university, we try to insert social awareness content in each course, no matter what, whether you are in the engineering course, engineering faculty, information technology faculty, whatever kinds of course, we try to bring students into a more socially related environment. Yeah, and of course, this is interesting that in our university, we bring students into a more practical, social-oriented projects throughout the university. So what we do in Universitas Andalas or Andalas University is that we have pilot villages nearby our university, and what we do is that we send students to have social oriented projects there based on each of their faculty focus. Those who are coming from the engineering faculty, normally they try to develop a solar cell panel for electricity, and those who are coming from economic faculty, they are improving cooperative within those villages and so on like that. So what we do in our university, for example, that we try to move closer to our social environment, to our surrounding environment by bringing our competencies and capacities from the university, not only by going there and then train them doing something, but we do the real thing there. And that's what we do in my university, to respond to the society 5 by raising awareness of our students to their social and surrounding environment.
Wow, it's really noble target. And then what we do in Indonesia is just precisely like you explained. So in other words, we can say that the university try not only teach the student to be a leader and understand in the knowledge, but how they imply and apply the knowledge for the benefit for the society, to be beneficial and global. Sorry, that's my university tagline, but I like it, to be beneficial and global. In other words, if we see our university try in Indonesia answering the needs of the market and society, what has happened in the society now, in the global and in Indonesia especially, and the university already tried to answer and address that point. In perspective from the other side, from the comparison for countries to countries, I just wondering and asking to Mr. Ahmad. Mr. Ahmad, do you think the cost, example, because we're talking all the changes and all the system, and now we're talking about the cost of the education in Indonesia, is it comparable to other country, or this is quite expensive, or this is quite affordable? For instance, for a student in Bangkok, example, is that comparable, or is quite expensive, cheaper, or really okay? I don't know. Please, Mr. Ahmad.
I think in terms of tuition fee and also living costs, yeah, Indonesia is competitive and it's cheaper comparing with ASEAN countries. Yeah. For example, my observation on the tuition fee for Indonesia is ranging from 2,000 to 6,000 US dollar in an annual tuition fee. This is for the international class, which is conducted in English. And if we see the Thailand tuition fee is about 6,000 to about 10,000 here in Thailand. And if you compare with Philippines is about 4,000 to 6,000. And then Malaysia, about 10,000 to 20,000, and Singapore even highest, 20,000 to 50,000 US dollar annually for the tuition fee. And if you compare also with the living cost, the annual living cost in Indonesian cities maybe it can be less than 2,000, 3,000. It depends on the cities, of course. Yeah. For example, in the cities of Yogyakarta or in my city in Malang, the living cost is very much less. Yeah. So I think this one is one of the advantage also with regard to the previous question of Dr. Roni. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ahmad. So it's really privileged that in our country, the living cost is cheaper compared to the other country in ASEAN. So this is one of the consideration that even though cheaper, I do believe that the standard in our university, we have a good standard baseline, and the accreditation also been acknowledged by some of the international accreditor foundation. So based on the what we can inform to all the audience here that the cost for studying in Indonesia quite cheaper compared to other country in Asia. I just wondering also, I will go to the Mr. Teguh. Mr. Teguh, as part of the system in the government in embassy, how the embassy give more support and bridge the student from Philippines, example, to come over to Indonesia, any special provide access information or any other support have been provided other than BIPA to bring more students to be able to come to Indonesia?
First thing that I think that we provide assistance to who want to study in Indonesia, that for sure. But other than BIPA, I think as what the embassy has done and still doing until now, that we disseminate all informations regarding the study in Indonesia. In terms of university, either they request to us to give the dissemination of information of their own university and subject, but we still have our duty to disseminate all informations to the Philippine counterpart. So either institutions or even a government's institutions. So regarding the scholarship, short-term study, long-term program, training, workshop. So this is quite informative from what the embassy did. And in preparations, the embassy seeks and facilitate ongoing collaboration also between Philippine and Indonesian school or university. But the most important that we bridge, we facilitate. This is, if we're talking about the facilitation is one to another. So the most important is, I think we have more memorandum of agreements or memorandum of understanding between university. So this is a further step between university to university in Indonesia and the Philippines. So I think from 2017 to 21, I think there are more than 10 or 20 universities in the Philippines. They are tied up with the university in Indonesia. So quite many universities in Indonesia also, they have memorandum of understanding, memorandum of agreements. This is how we facilitate between Indonesia and the Philippines. So by this, I think all is easy to get channel how to do with cooperation between university and university. So this could be in terms of teaching techniques, exchange student, teacher, trainings, and other. So by doing this, I think we open more our door to the Philippine student who will going to study in Indonesia. I
Wow.
think that's some. Thank you.
Yeah. Wow, that's really calming us down. If I were a Filipinos, I will be very happy to come over to study in Indonesia because I know there is so many support come from the embassy itself. But anyhow, sometimes the student quite worried about the visa application whenever they want to study in Indonesia. Is that any information whether embassy, due to all the situation changes, kind of like this pandemic, is that getting easier or getting harder to get a visa to come over and study in Indonesia, Mr. Teguh?
Yeah, I think during this pandemic, we have a problem with the border. Either Indonesia to Philippines or Philippines to Indonesia, we temporarily close for the free visa. But we should have a visa to get enter Indonesia, to get enter to the Philippines, both vice versa. But in terms of visa application, I think immigrations do a lot of things and help for every single institution how to deal with visa application. So nowadays during the pandemic, it's quite easy because they are doing online. So the visa directly issued by the Indigen Immigration, that's immigration office headquarter. And recently that we welcome Filipino students under the scholarship already in Indonesia because visa online system. So by doing this, I think there is no kind of difficulty if we're doing in by the regulation. So everything is quite easy to get all informations either direct to the immigration office from Jakarta or to the embassy. All information is there. The only difference is now it's not issued by the embassy but issued directly from the immigration office. But all the process is and all the application requirement is the same. I think that's the only difference. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's clear information. Thank you so much, Mr. Teguh. I still want to talk a little bit with Mr. Teguh and Mr. Ahmad. This questions is for both of you. We know that even though in Indonesia we have a standardized and international accredited institution with all the program and system, in some point, countries to countries has a different platform for educational standard. So, for instance, Mr. Ahmad, how embassy be able to help to synchronize those different platform standard for the student? Do you can share example is that there is a synchronization DEX process example, or there is a letter explanation from the student to study in Indonesia and so on. Can you give your opinion regarding that point, Mr.
Okay.
Ahmad?
Okay, thank you. So with regard on this accreditation, every country have their own standard, but I think some of them are also following the international accreditation board or something like that. So in terms of Thailand and Indonesia, every Thai person who graduated from Indonesia, they will ask the letter from the embassy to show that the study program and the university is accredited by the BANPITI, the National Board of Accreditation in Higher Education in Indonesia. Yeah. And also the student from Indonesia who study in Thailand, when they get back to Indonesia, they also ask the letter to show that institution in Thailand are accredited by, in here we have a Thailand for Commission for Accreditation, something like that also, same like in Indonesia. But in Indonesia itself, now the accreditation is not only by BANPITI, several institutions already set up to make this accreditation, including those who are affiliated with the international organization. For example, like we have a IAB, Indonesian Association Board for Education, Engineering Education, which is now is a provision signatory for the Washington Accord, part of the Washington Accord. And this have already 100, more than 100 study program in Indonesia already accredited by this EAB. And also we have LAMPTKes, which is Association of the Medical Studies in Indonesia, where they belong also to the organization of World Association for Medical Education. Yeah. This is also internationally recognized. Yeah. So this is also, I think, almost all the study program in medical related are already accredited by the LAMPTKes. And in addition, some of the study program in several universities in Indonesia already got the international accreditation. Yeah. I think in 6 universities providing with discussion today, each of them, they have several study program already accredited international, but the data from the higher education directors in Ministry of Education, it is stated about more than 500 study program have already got the international accredited from ABET, ASIN, ACSB, and even for the ASEAN, we also have AUNQA like that. So I think the standard for education, higher education in Indonesia is already reached the international standard also.
Okay, so this is very clear. So friends from all the countries who attend this meeting today and this talk show, do not worry. We have the same standard. Do not worry with the difference. So to make you more confident about it, let's hear the statement, the information from Mr. Teguh. Please, Mr. Teguh, how is condition from the Philippines, please?
I think big part the answer for this question is already mentioned by Pak Ahmad. The most important is accreditation. That's for sure. But we have a little bit different between the Indonesia and the Philippines here, because in Indonesia we have only one umbrella, that the Ministry of Education, Culture, Research and Technology. That's who dealing with the education from elementary to the university, right? But in the Philippines, that we have to deal with different institutions. But for in terms of like we have here the Department of Education until the high school, and we have here is the Commission on Higher Education who dealing with the university, and I think we have also for the Educational and Skill Development Authority, what we call the TESDA. This is for technical and vocational education and training. So basically that how we harmonize this all, if like Indonesian side, we have to know where to where. So who we have to deal with. If we are talking about the university, we have to talk about the university level. So we go to the Commission on Higher Education, and if we are talking about the vocational, that we go to another institution. But for sure that's why the facilitation by the embassy is better to like memorandum of agreement between both sides, so we know exactly like university in Indonesia want to preach about Philippine Indonesian students and get more Filipino students who want to study in Indonesia. So what kind of level? That's how we can harmonize about this. I think that's the all my question. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Teguh. It's very, very clear, I think. This is enhancing and empowering all the students here, friends who want to study in Indonesia. They will not worry since they already hear this very important information. So we are internationally standard and accredited, so they do not worry about the situation. If they worry about the languages, there is a support from embassy and learning the BIPA, and it's for free. And this is a very good information for all of you who attend this talk show today. But I want to jump to the very first speaker, to Miss Tina. This is a quite challenging questions for you, Miss Tina. I just wondering, Miss Tina, since Dana could cuts the very important opportunity at the very first chances to create the platform, the market, to anticipate the digital society. How Dana anticipate the metaverse? This is because all the students now start to talking about the metaverse and start to buy some point and some area in metaverse. Just wondering how Dana anticipate the metaverse.
Yeah. Okay. So actually, the metaverse will be is an interesting trend and challenge for both industry and the government as well, right? But as part of the fintech industry, we believe that the most important anticipation for any new trend in technology advancements lies for its education to accelerate digital literacy, as well as we need to see the readiness of the people and the local wisdom as well. So I think according to the National Digital Literacy Index survey in 2021 by Ministry of Communication and Information Technology, that the digital literacy index in Indonesia is in the medium category with the index of 3.49, and then for that relates to the digital culture pillars generally gets the highest score into the score of 3.9, right? So while digital safety pillars supposedly in the lowest index of the 3.10. So meaning that talking for the Indonesia itself, whether we are already ready with the metaverse or not, I think we still need to balance everything from the infrastructure, from the technology, and then also the digital mindset itself. So digital literacy plays an essential part to shape people experience, including the upcoming metaverse, meaning that I'm afraid that, as I earlier said, that high tech, high touch, right? So we cannot use literally technology without seeing the other aspect. So meaning if we use metaphors at the end, we need to educate the people itself to be ready with how with the wisdom and balancing how we use metaphors to make people more effective and more happy in living, rather than we become a robot or anything. Right?
Yeah,
I think I agree with the metaphors, but I think how we really have that kind of balancing, of course, with the support from the governments as well, how to educate, and then the support from the university to make sure that the knowledge, skills, and attitude is also being blended into the curriculum. That's from me, Dr. Rahman.
Thank you, Ms. Tina. Capture the last statement, support from the university. Mr. Hafiz, what do you think, how we can support the metaverse from the university? Please, Mr. Hafiz. Still muted? Yeah.
Of course, this is still, a very challenging task for the university, actually, how to deliver and how to sensitize, how to practice the metaverse, especially for students. But we actually, I need to tell you that we haven't responded yet, but we've already have a blueprint to respond it, actually, but we still haven't implemented yet. Yeah. This is, of course, as I mentioned previously, this is a very challenging task for us in the university, how to not only to sensitize students, but also how to bring the lecturers to get to know with it, to get to understand what is the advantages, benefits of using the metaverse and something like that. And so far, we are still in the initial stage of how to socialize that in our educational system in the university, especially in my university. Yeah.
Yeah, so still challenging, right, Mr. Hafiz? Yeah, thank you so much for your explanation and your ideas. This is opening our perspective, definitely, for sure. But this is not will be a very clear-cut answer, because we still live it on it, and then we still answering the challenge that coming over to the metaverse situation now we face with our children. But I still want to talk even more with all the speaker here, but unrealizedly, we already talking almost for 1 hour. So I need to close the session soon. But before I close the session, I want to invite Mr. Ahmad to give a simple statement before closing, and then I will give the opportunity to Mr. Teguh, Mr. Hafiz, and Ms. Tina. Please first start with you, Mr. Ahmad.
Thank you, Dr. Rani. First, as I come from the Indonesian Embassy in Bangkok, I would like also to inform all of the Thai citizens or Thai students who want to go to Indonesia. Please do not hesitate to contact us in our website. You can go through the Google. And I want to inform you also that in Thailand, we have a Thai citizen who are alumni of Indonesia. They make an association, what we call as Persaid, Persatuan Alumni Indonesia di Thailand. So this is one of advantage that you can also ask to Persaid how to study in Indonesia, because they already graduated from Indonesia. And last, related with the digital and social entrepreneurship, I think in Indonesia now, the government supporting very much to the growth of digital and social entrepreneurship. For example, as I mentioned before, there is emancipated learning. So the student can get 1 semester 20 credit, at least, when they join the entrepreneurial activity, like you make a setup, the startup or something like that. And then in some university, I know there are some providing a unit, a special unit for promoting the entrepreneurial. So student can come there and they can ask for the assistant, or they can do internship in the entrepreneurial unit in the university. And right now, the Ministry of Education really support this kind of learning, digital and social entrepreneurship. They provide us with the competitive fund. They provide us with the link to the industry. We call as Kedai Reka. So you can, as a student later in Indonesia, you can have a link with the industry, how to make an entrepreneur and making a startup. And there are also in Indonesia, we have also national competition on the entrepreneur. And some students in university in Indonesia, they also won some prize from the international entrepreneurial competition, like the one from Brawijaya University in Malang. They got the first prize in Japan for the entrepreneurial competition, maybe 2-3 years ago. I think that's all, Dr. Rani. So I really would like to ask the student to go to Indonesia and get the degree in Indonesia. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ahmad. This is very endorsement that, this is a very exciting endorsement coming from the Atase himself. Thank you so much. And then next, closing statement from Mr. Teguh from Embassy of Manila, Philippines, please.
Okay, first of all, I thank you all to the host organizer, and especially for the participant during this morning and day events. and Indonesian Embassy to the Office of Education and Culture is welcome to all inquiries, all questions regarding study in Indonesia, and also the question about what the facilitation of the Office of the Education and Culture in Indonesian Embassy in Manila to who want to take a study in Indonesia, either in terms of the information of the university subject and all the what we already discussed about the support to ease study in Indonesia. And I believe that our colleague already shared about the Facebook address of the Office of the Education and Culture in the Embassy of the Indonesian Embassy in Manila. So for this is please feel free to contact and to make any communications regarding everything that related to study in Indonesia and related to the whatever that we discussed during this morning and day event. So I thank you to everything. Thank you to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Teguh. So friends from Philippines, what you're waiting for? Take your note, take your phone, come to Indonesia. We are waiting for you. Okay, so next, Mr. Hafiz, last statement, please.
Okay, thank you very much for the organizer who runs this very insightful information regarding study in Indonesia, to all of the ambassadors, His Excellencies, the ambassadors, and also everyone from the from NUNI regarding the digital and social entrepreneurship. This topic is inevitable right now. Yeah, we have to live with it. So we have to respond it. We have to make a positive response to the rise of digital technology, to the rise of Society 5, and we have to aware that this will be a very challenging and very much needed theme for the future. And to all of my beloved potential students, please bear in mind that if once you have every kinds of business idea related to what you want to do for the future in business, then please have a think about digital and social business, which will be a very, very prospective fields for the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Hafiz. So again, empowerment statement that we need to anticipate the change in the future, and social and digital learning is one of the process that we have been through, and we need that. We need to adapt at it, and we need to use it optimally. And last but not least, our good speaker, the last one, Miss Tina, please, last statement.
Thank you, Dr. Ronnie. So thank you so much for this opportunity. I think this is a great event for everyone to have a good insight across country. So my point would be as a takeaway that for those that you want to coming to Indonesia, talking about digital and social entrepreneurship, I think Indonesia would be the right place to go. With the 260 million of people, 34 provinces, you can explore lots of things in terms of the social entrepreneurship, cultural, multicultural, and everything. And lots of things to do to implement the idea for anything, talking about the startup. Because in my notes that from the Bank Indonesia record that we already have a 992 startup, and then we record that almost increase 35% every year. So it's kind of like a small idea you can implement in Indonesia. So I think Indonesia would be a great place to go to develop any kind of a digital and social entrepreneurship, because anything you can explore here with the huge of the geographical and populations. Back to you, Dr. Rani.
Thank you so much, Ms. Tina. Very, very nice. The last statement has been mentioned by you. Before I closing and wrap up with some sentence, would you mind to give a virtual applause to all the speakers, all the audience? Thank you so much. And then, I'm very appreciated that you stay with us, stay tuned with us from the beginning to the end of the session. So let me wrap up with this statement that, our situation is changing by day by day. And then like or dislike by COVID-19 situation, we have been driven to live with a digital system in many ways, and then we need to learning the digitals. We need to develop the capability and adaptability with this situation. Now, like or dislike, the market become a more social perspective in many ways, but we need to understand that the technology have been developed should make our life easier and make it balanced, helping one to another side. And as you seen over here, the government side, the education side, and the industry side, and all of these aspect and the factor collaborate one to another, integrate one to another, support to answer the needs of the society to be beneficial. So thank you so much. With saying good afternoon, salam sejahtera for all of us, I close the session. Thank you very much. Have a good day. Enjoy your day and return to the master ceremony.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ronnie, and our wonderful speakers from the government and from the industry and from the educational institution. And now we will go to the next session, Why Study in Indonesia? This section will be delivered by the team from Atmajaya Catholic University of Indonesia.
Okay, thank you very much, MC, Ibu Asti. Hello, everyone. Can you hear my voice? Yeah, okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Indonesia. Okay, my name is Adre. I'm from Atmajaya Catholic University of Indonesia. Now, we have heard a lot of things, great things about Indonesia from the speakers just now. And if that did not get you hyped up to get your chances to study here, then the next session surely will become the decision makers for you. Okay, first of all, we have room A. In room A, we will have two universities from Jakarta. As you know, Jakarta is the capital city of Indonesia, and I will start with my own university because it's the first one that starts with A, Atmajaya Catholic University of Indonesia. Now, as a top private university in Indonesia, Atmajaya has achieved the highest accreditation that we can in Indonesia. And it's also the third best private university according to QS ranking. Okay, if you want to know more about QS ranking, then go into the room later. Atmajaya has 3 campuses. Next slide, please. 3 campuses located in strategic locations in and around Jakarta. We also offer full degree international programs in accounting, several scholarships in the Mahasiswa program, and we also have several short programs that you can join either online or offline. So if you want to know more about the university, but you don't want to go from your country yet, then you can join us in our online program. Okay, next up, we have for Jakarta. Okay, A for Jakarta. Next, please. Next one, we have room B. So in each Pajajaran University. First off is Islamic University of Indonesia. Now, this one is very unique because it's even older than Indonesia. Indonesia gained independent in August 1945, but UII, I will call it UII because Islamic University of Indonesia is very long, okay? UII was established in July 1945, and they are the first ever private university in Indonesia. It's located in Yogyakarta. Perhaps some of you have heard about Yogyakarta. It's a very famous and beautiful touristic city. It has a lot of international programs. You can see there on the right side of your screen, accounting, blah, 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 until the last one is pharmacy. And it also has scholarship. Next, please. The scholarship, the Future Global Leaders Scholarship. Okay, this one is applicable for international students. It also has several other scholarships as well. So jot down these websites, the admisi.uii, blah, 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 those that in blue. jot down those websites. And also the next one here. If you want to know more, visit that website as well, or you can go to Rumbi, of course. Next up is Pajajaran University. You've seen Mr. Ronnie, you've seen Dr. Ronnie from the session just now as the moderator. Dr. Ronnie is from Pajajaran University. Now, this university is located in Bandung. It's a city so beautiful that the nickname is the City of Flowers, Kota Kembang in Indonesia. Now, UNPAD is a public university, and next, please. And as you can see there, it is ranked at number 7 according to QS. Number 3 for their medical program. So those who wants to be the doctors, anyone wants to be doctors, you can join Rumbi as well. Okay, UNPAD also offers several scholarships for international students. For example, the Mahasiswa program. There's also the scholarship for developing countries. So if you want to know more about these scholarships from UNPAD and also from UII, join presentation from these beautiful cities in Rumbi. Okay, Rumbi for beautiful, UII and UNPAD, Bandung and Yogyakarta. Next, we will go across the sea. This is the only university that's participating in this event that is not located in the island of Java. This one is located in the island of Sumatra. Okay, if you want to know what's very famous from Sumatra, from West Sumatra, especially the city where this university is located, then it's rendang. I'm sure that you've heard of beef rendang. It's because it's the #1 most delicious food according to CNN. It's not us, it's not Indonesian naming it as the most delicious food, it's America. So you can trust those foreign tongues. That is very beautiful, it's very delicious. Okay, now UNAN, Andalas University, we make it short as UNAN, boasts international programs in accounting, management and economics, also in biology, pharmacy, agribusiness, international relations, English literature. So it has a huge range of international programs. And just a bit of a trivia.
Muted, Padre.
Oh, thank you. Sorry, I didn't realize that I was muted. Okay. West Sumatra is so beautiful that Indonesian government is naming it as one of the new Bali. I'm from there. I've been there. It's a beautiful place. So come to Sumatra, come to Andalas to study in that beautiful place. After Sumatra, after Andalas, we go back to Java Island, to the easternmost capital of Java Island, the Surabaya. We have Petra Christian University. If West Sumatra, as I mentioned before, is one of the new Bali, then if you go to Surabaya, you are literally 2 hours away from Bali. You just need to take a ferry boat and then go there in 2 hours, you'll reach Bali. It's very close. So Fridays after class, you can go to Bali. Sunday, you go back to Surabaya. It's convenient, right? Now, Petra Christian University has 3 campuses. Next, please. Has 3 campuses here, as you can see, and you can choose to study in several programs that are running fully in English. For example, English for business, English for creative industry. Oh, thank you very much. As you can see there in the chat box, UNAN also provides scholarships. Lots of other programs, English for creative industry, international program in digital media, international business management, international business accounting, and international business engineering. Okay, so students, I think I've spoken enough. It's your time now. It's your time to make your choices. Pick one, meet the people from the university, get more information, get from them how you can learn in Indonesia. I've seen lots of questions in the chat box about that. This is your time. Okay, this is your time to ask them. Okay, last but not least, I want to say we will be waiting you in our campuses. I'll be signing out. Students, start picking and start your adventure in Indonesia. Thank you very much.